How's it going, guys? It's Twins22, and have you guys ever heard of the black-eyed children? Well, here's two stories of black-eyed children encounters. I was riding the bus back home after work. It was about 1 a.m. I'm a security guard and often work odd hours. So I'm sitting there and this guy gets on, sits across from me. He was wearing a suit, had a briefcase, regular looking guy in his 20s. What struck me about him at first was that he was chewing a cigar, not smoking it. You can't smoke on the bus, so I was just looking at him while he stared out the window and chewed his cigar. All of a sudden, he turned and looked at me. His eyes were pitch black. My heart started beating like a mad motherfucker. I was starting to panic and had no idea why. Then he grinned at me and his teeth were all covered in tobacco bits and brown juice. The cigar clamped between them. I almost screamed, but instead I had the presence of mind to just get up and take a seat right behind the bus driver. I calmed down a bit after that, but I kept the eye on the guy. He ended up chatting with some girl that got on, and they were still talking when I got off. I later convinced myself he was just trolling me, having fun with a pair of contacts. Now I wonder. Number 2. On March 17th, 2008, I had my one and only encounter with a black-eyed kid. Before my experience, I had never ever heard of a black-eyed kid. I was 12. I was sitting outside of a hairdresser in an old Chevy pickup, waiting for my mom to get her hair cut. About 15 minutes had passed and I saw one kid walking back and forth along the sidewalk in front of my parked car. At first I thought I recognized him as one of my friends from school, so I banged on the front windshield until he looked my way. It wasn't anyone I knew. At this point, I'm still not scared at all. Not yet. The boy walked over to the side of my car and just stared. The boy raised his head, and let me tell you, if you have never seen a black-eyed kid, you have no idea what to imagine. Pupils black as the night sky. The boy whispers, "You must let me in." And then I locked the car doors and ducked down into the space below the seats. 5 minutes later, he was gone. When my mother got into the car, she told me about a boy with black eyes had come into the hairdresser and insisted my mom to give him the keys to the car. She refused. Thank God she did. Number 3. So a month ago, my friend was talking to me about these creepy ass kids that were hanging around his house. He seemed scared, like he was about to shit his pants, and he doesn't scare easily. He said they always wanted to use his phone and wanted to come in, but he always said no. A week ago, he told me he was going to let them in, and I didn't really give it any attention. But he's been missing ever since. I've gone over to his house, but it's empty, and his cell phone number isn't going through. Does anyone know what happened to him? I've heard about black-eyed kids just now, and I don't know what they do. Is he alive? Please help. I'm so seriously freaked the fuck out. Number 4. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm in my early 20s. I just moved into this apartment and I tend to live a very private life. I don't even have a Facebook account. I work during the day at a grocery store. Okay, so I'm walking up my flight of steps to get to my apartment and I hear these kids laughing and I heard a whispering. It was kinda late, so I thought this was weird, but I ignored it and walked into my apartment. I live on the 3rd floor. I was getting ready to open my balcony door. It was really muggy in my apartment. I walked over to the door and pulled my blinds, and the two kids are fucking staring back at me. I screamed and backed away, smashing my leg into the table. They were both in blue jeans, and the oldest, he was taller, had a green shirt with white stripes, and the younger had a button-up light blue shirt. The oldest one touched the sliding door. "Hey miss, can you let us in?" The younger one just kept looking around. I still just stared at them. I finally was able to say, "How'd you get in my balcony?" I walked to the door and noticed how excited the older one got. He moved closer to the entrance. "Can you let us in?" I wasn't thinking, so I unlocked the door, and when I looked up, their eyes, you guys, their eyes were black, the entire eye. I quickly locked the door and I told them I had to call the police because my door was jammed and I couldn't unlock the door. So I called the police. The oldest boy pleaded with me the entire time to let them in. The police arrived about an hour ago. They came in and walked to the balcony. When they opened the door to my balcony, nothing was there. They looked down and saw two children that were running into the parking lot away from the building. The police took a report and said they had help getting up there and that they would question the neighbors. I'm freaking out. I'm crying. I don't want to stay here, but then again, I don't feel safe going outside right now. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys would like me to narrate your story, please send it to fls.gaming@gmail.com. The information will be down in the description below. Remember guys, if you have an encounter with the black-eyed children, remember this: don't let them in.